everyone, and welcome to the Backman Stitch Up podcast. I'm Claire McMenemy, the designer behind Backman Stitch Up Design, and today our special guest is Faye, also known as Faye B Doodles. Do you want to introduce yourself, Faye?
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm Faye. I basically own Faye B Doodles. So I do basically cute illustrations, for like gift cards, prints, and I've recently started to delve into the world of seamless pattern design, which is really exciting and simultaneously scary as well. That's me.
So I actually saw you on Instagram quite a while ago, Faye. I think you popped up on, like the Explore page when you're searching for something. And I remember
Nice.
seeing your illustrations and I thought, oh, they're really, really cute. And I never followed you because at the time I was like, no, I can only follow people that are going to buy from me. So I never actually followed you.
That is absolutely fair, to be honest. So I will not take personal offence. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then because I started the Design Emporium page as well, I'd got a massive list of people. Well, not a massive list, but I've got like 100 shops on there written down that I wanted to try and like approach. I've not actually told you this, but I've got it's like a wish list that I've got. So I wanted to try and approach these people when it's eventually up and running and ask them if they want to sell on Design Emporium. And you were actually on my list.
Oh my gosh! Well, honestly, thank you so much for doing that. I feel like there's just so many different accounts out there of illustrators that I've not even discovered yet. So thank you for reaching out.
So you are doing it part-time, aren't you? So is it marketing that you do as your full-time job?
Yeah, that's right. So I work full time. So I basically work as a marketing manager for a university. But if I'm honest, like art and drawing and sort of doing something with my art is really like what I want to do and something that I really want to like pursue sort of as a more like fixed term thing. I think there's like a lot of people who are in that same situation who are like, have full-time jobs, also doing extra bits. So this is sort of like my side hustle, so to speak. But yeah, I just wish I had more time for it and want to make more time to do it. But yeah, how did you find like the transition into doing like patterns sort of, on like a full-time basis?
So I just went straight in basically because so the situation that I was in, I'd left the military, I did childminding for a little bit, and then lockdown started. So I immediately lost all my business basically. And we were in a bit of a bad situation financially because we were because I was self-employed, that was it. We had no other money coming in except from Andrew's money, my partner's. And that just wasn't enough for the bills and everything. So I started doing random things, like trying to sell embroidery art and stuff, but it literally took like 5,000 hours to do one embroidery. It wasn't financially beneficial at all. So I've said this in a previous podcast before, but basically I was obsessed with cloth nappies for my youngest daughter, and I was on a cloth nappy group and saw that somebody posted on there that she was a designer for cloth nappies, and sold these designs. And I just thought, oh my God, that is like my dream job. And also I knew that I could draw. I was always good at it at school, but I'd just never done it since. So my husband, bless him, like invested his savings in buying me like all the equipment that I needed. Complete blind faith because he'd never seen anything that I'd drawn. And just started designing from there. And because I literally had no other job, every night after I'd put the children to bed, I would like be frantically drawing, setting up the Instagram account, setting up an Etsy shop. And I just thought I've got to make it work. So I just absolutely hammered it basically.
Gosh, that's just such a lot to take on, isn't it? But amazing though that like you've been able to like actually do it. And that's like my dream is to like You know, I've basically like changed my hours at work to allow me to have like one day
Have
every
you?
2 weeks, or like as
Yeah.
my non-working day, to be able to like focus on doing my art, you know, like sort of yeah, making it into more of a thing. Because yeah, that would be ultimately what I would like love to do. But
And I absolutely have faith that you can do it. And I don't
oh,
say this
thank
to
you.
everybody, but I genuinely think like your style of art is just sellable. I just think it would be really popular. And it's just finding the right niche and selling platform, I suppose, how to sell it. So have you got like a business plan or
Do you
anything
know?
going on?
Do you know what? Embarrassingly, I don't have anything formal, but I think a lot of it has been essentially seeing what people have been asking for. I think like is
Yeah.
sort of what I've started with. You know, like I think at the very beginning I was like, I'll do greeting cards, just thinking that that's what would work for my designs. And I do sell like, you know, on Thoughtful, and that sort of
Yeah.
like is a good platform, you know, for me to use. But over time, what I've noticed is actually the questions that I was getting asked about was more, do you do kids' clothing? Do you do patterns? And like, I'll be honest, like the first time someone asked me, I was like, I literally have no idea how to make a pattern. So
Yeah.
I've taught myself like how to do patterns, you know, like how does that work? Like learning Procreate. It was like a whole other skill to Procreate that I'd never sort of learned before until somebody like
Yeah,
asked me,
definitely.
and I realized there was like a demand for that. So essentially was like, right, I need to maybe go down this avenue, you know, explore that a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably do need to do something more formal. I shouldn't be saying that as a marketer. I think a lot of my energy as well a lot of my energy as well has gone into like the marketing of, you know,
Yeah.
just like my designs, I guess, rather than necessarily
Yeah.
patterns. And I think that's sort of the shift that I've now started to go
Yeah.
down, is rather than just posting cute doodles, which I still love doing and will continue to do. I think it's more that shift now of like, right, I need to think about how I market seamless patterns rather than just posting cute illustrations.
Yeah. Because you've actually got a big following on Instagram, haven't you? How many roughly do you think you've got now?
So I've got like over 10,000, but what I
Yeah,
would
that's
say,
amazing.
what I would say is like actually it's about like how engaged your community is, like how engaged the people are who are
Mm.
following you. So like you could have like a smaller, you know, following, but all of those people might be more engaged and actually actively, you know, sort of engaging with your content. And I think that that's like really sort of the measure of success, I would say, in a
Yeah.
lot of cases, is that sort of like
Yeah.
who is engaging, how much engagement are you getting. But you know, I'm very grateful to like have met loads of lovely people through Instagram as well. That I think like the art community is really supportive actually, because I
Yeah.
remember thinking when I first like started, I did it through lockdown basically. I had like an iPad from work, don't tell anyone. And, and basically started using it in my evenings to draw. I download, like I've always loved drawing.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was like, maybe I should make an Instagram and start posting. But the idea of doing that was really like scary. I was like, what
It
if,
is,
you know, you
yeah.
hear so many things about the internet being this like terrible, scary place. And obviously it can be. But so I was expecting to post stuff and like potentially have people be like, this is rubbish. This is awful.
Yeah.
Um,
Trolls.
yeah,
Same.
sure.
So what marketing advice can you share with us?
Oh gosh. I mean, I know we are like talking about Instagram specifically at the minute. I do think that you've just got to be consistent, like as in
Yeah.
when I say consistent, I don't mean like posting every single day, like don't burn yourself out, but just having
Yeah.
like sort of schedule with yourself of like, I'm going to post every, I don't know, Tuesday and Thursday, and just sort of having that sort of consistency. Like it's something that we've been trying to do, like in like sort of my full-time job, is like
Yeah.
having that constant and consistent content going out. But yeah, I would say that that's something that I would concentrate on. And reels, obviously, like reels is the big thing for growth. I know. And like
Yeah.
sometimes
I'm
I enjoy doing
trying. I'm trying.
sometimes I enjoy doing them, and other times I'm like, yeah, I don't. So I think that's something that I think at times I have to step back a bit and remember that I need to do stuff because I enjoy it rather than like doing it
Yeah.
for likes or doing it for whatever, just
Yeah,
doing it for the,
definitely.
the love of actually drawing and enjoying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted a reel yesterday
Is
of
it the
me
ghost
dressed as a
one?
ghost in my back
I love
garden.
that. I really
Like,
loved that one. I thought it was funny.
oh, I know all the neighbours can see me because there's no proper fencing. I thought, God, they must think I'm an absolute psychopath. One thing that I did want to ask, did you ever pay for ads on Instagram, and did you find that helped?
No, I've never paid for ads on Instagram. There's no reason why I guess people shouldn't. But
Yeah.
personally, I didn't. Like I think I was just probably a bit stingy in terms of not wanting to pay.
Yeah.
But equally, I think I wanted that like genuine interaction. I think I don't know. Like I guess there's nothing wrong with like paying sponsor posts. I guess it's going to hit people who are interested in your niche in a particular area, so it could be useful. But yeah, I personally have never used it. Have you done it?
I've just started doing it about 2
Have
weeks ago.
you? How?
But the reason why I did it is because I've been stuck on the same number of followers for well over a year. Like there's been no growth at all. And because I'm now doing the Design Emporium stuff, I thought, well,
Mhm.
realistically, I need to grow my following. To try and get new artists and designers on board, and B, just to attract new customers that would then also see Design Emporium through my page. So I did
Mhm.
some on Design Emporium first, and they worked really well. I did one, and I got about 300 new followers from it
Oh
within 4
wow.
days. So that was really good.
Oh,
But
that
the
is good.
one on my Back My Stitch Up page, it's
Yeah.
very slow growth. So I think when I first started doing reels about 2 months ago, I think I've had 400 new followers since then
Mhm.
over 2 months, which is better than what it has been, but still, I don't know. I feel like I've heard it mentioned before, but some people say that once you pay for ads, when you stop paying for ads, your posts then get shown to less people.
Really like holding it against it. Instagram is just like a whole other it's a whole other world in terms of like the level of depth that you can like look into things, isn't
Yeah.
it? I feel like it's really difficult to sort of keep up with the changes and everything that's happening.
I actually tried to get onto TikTok recently, but
Did you?
I'm just too old for that. I just cannot manage like Instagram, Facebook, another Instagram account, TikTok, YouTube. It's just too much. So I think TikTok's just gonna have to wait a
Yeah.
while.
I was gonna say, I think like I do have a TikTok, but I'm not like actively like posting to it because I find
Yeah.
just managing, one account is enough. But I should
So
definitely
one
do
of the
it.
things that we spoke about recently, Faye, was because you're trying to get into seamless patterns and stuff, and
Yeah.
I noticed, I think that you'd posted a Halloween pattern
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
recently, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but because people have to buy so far in advance, you have to post certain seasons at certain times. So if this is a good tip for like other seamless pattern designers that are new to the business, but basically if you are posting a Christmas design 4 weeks before Christmas, it's probably you've missed the boat basically. So you need to be posting well in advance to get realistic sales, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think yeah, when you messaged me, I was like, thank you so much. It just
Yeah,
goes
because
to
people
show.
just don't know.
Yeah, this is it. Where's the manual?
I
Like,
know, I know.
I'm like, where's the 101 manual for like seamless pattern designers? Because maybe there is one that I just
There probably
haven't
is
seen.
actually.
Someone's going to be
Yeah,
like, there is one, and I'll be like, sorry, okay, I'll get it.
yeah,
But yeah, no, honestly, it's things like that I was like, gosh, I didn't realize just quite how far in advance it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's mad. Do you always feel, do you plan your year? Like, as in, do you say certain months, I don't know, I'm going to be releasing, I don't know, spring designs, or certain months I'm going to do autumnal, like do you plan it out
No,
like that, or sorry
no,
to put you on the
I'm
spot
not.
again.
No, I'm not that organised, to be honest. So the way that it actually works for me is because I've got quite a large rep team. The reps will basically say, "Can you do a spring theme? I don't know, farm theme or something."
Okay.
So then that will give me the next idea of the next design that I'll be doing. So I know what I don't know, occasion or season they are shopping for, because they will literally come and tell me what they want. So that's really helpful for me. But in general, you just, because I've got other seamless pattern designer friends, and like I follow a lot of other seamless pattern designers, you just see the general
Mm-hmm.
trend of what everybody else is releasing. It's always worrying when somebody releases the first Christmas design that you see, because then it's like massive pressure. Like, oh God, I'm not ready for Christmas. It's March. It's like it's
Is
30
it,
degrees here.
is that how early it is? So yeah, so like
Some, yeah,
oh, oh gosh, I better get
yeah.
started now.
I know,
To
it's
get
so
going.
stressful trying to keep up with the trend. If I was more organised, then yeah, it would be a great idea to sit down and write like this week of this month do this design, but I'm just not. I'm just
Oh,
no.
it's understandable though, isn't it? It's like life just happens as well. Like, there's everything
Yeah,
around it. But yeah, like thank you for messaging me about that, because
yeah, no
I would have been,
problem.
quite just like just do my own thing.
Yeah,
And everyone would be like, what are you
but
doing?
as well, because I thought, because you're new to doing it, I thought, God, I could see you'd posted it, and then thought she's probably not going to get any sales, and then she's going to think it's not good. And
Yeah.
I thought, I don't want her to think that people don't like it, if that makes sense. It's just the wrong time of the year. I'm a member of quite a few different Facebook groups that are related to like seamless patterns and art and stuff. And there was a bit of a debate going on in one of them this week, which was quite interesting. So um, the person who posted it is actually a successful seamless pattern designer, because I follow her on Instagram. And she basically said, can I have people's experiences of selling on Etsy, Spoonflower, and something else? Um, so obviously I sell on Etsy, and I've managed to build it up to the point where it's almost like a decent full-time income just from selling on Etsy. And then I'll sell on my own site when that's ready. I sell on another place called Creative Fabrica, probably about a year, and I've made $80 in a year. In fact, I think it
Mhm.
might be less than that. It might be $60, because people are essentially getting it for free, or Creative Fabrica get the money and not the artist. So it's just knowing it. I think it's trial and error which ones
Mhm.
will work and which ones won't. So loads of people said that they couldn't sell on Etsy, but that's worked for me. I've struggled on Spoonflower, but other people said that they've had more success on Spoonflower. It's so difficult.
I was just gonna, do you know what, one of my questions is whether like, yeah, how you found Spoonflower, because obviously I've heard of it, and because I'm like new to the world of like seamless patterns, it's obviously something that's come up, and
Yeah.
I've thought about it. Um, so yeah, it's interesting.
So
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, my issues with Spoonflower. First of all, every person that I've spoken to, like my reps that are handmade clothing businesses that have bought fabric from Spoonflower, have all said that the fabric quality is terrible and that they wouldn't buy from it again. So that's my main concern. The other thing is, you put your designs on there, unless you've got 1,000 designs on there, it's very difficult to be seen. So
Mhm.
I put about 40 designs on there, maybe 48 designs on there, I think. But you have to pay for a fabric swatch to put designs on there.
Okay.
And I am still down financially from paying for the fabric swatches since putting the designs on there. It's very, very oversaturated because anybody could put a design on there to sell. So you can imagine, I don't even know how many, there's probably millions and millions of designs. I just don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, like, to start with, like, obviously I want to like start selling more patterns. Like, obviously I've only got like a few up at the minute, but yeah, just like deciding like where do you do that? Do you do it on Etsy? Do you do it on Spoonflower? Do you have your own website? There's like all these different options.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Spoonflower, you get 10% commission for every yard sold. So it works out something like £1.20 that I'll get for a yard sold. And people generally only do buy a yard at a time because I think it must be hobbyists that buy off it, not like businesses and companies, because they're probably sourced better material essentially. So there's that aspect. But there are other fabric shops, like independent fabric shops, not a massive corporation like Spoonflower, that will let you put your designs on their website and do it as like a print on demand basis, and then you get the 10% commission. So there's an Australian one called Cloth Cuts. I think there's a few American ones that I know of. One's called LBK Printing. I'll send you the details of the others.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But there's less artists and designs on the website, so you've got a much better chance of being seen on it. And they are all designers and artists, not just like a random person that wants to add a design on there. So for me personally, that's actually been financially better to go with the independent fabric shops and sell with those.
It's interesting, all these different like avenues. It sort of like blows my mind. I'm like, I need a plan. Like, I need to plan. Like urgently. Like, how have you found like Etsy then?
So I was actually researching this the other day. I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but when I set up Design Emporium, it will essentially be a competitor to Etsy, in the respect that it's doing the same thing where artists can go on there, designers can go on there and sell their digital products as downloads. So I was researching Etsy, and it's had a lot of bad press recently because it keeps shutting shops down. But from what I've heard, it's actually to do with legal reasons mainly. But loads and loads of people are now leaving Etsy and looking for alternatives. So that's why I thought it was a good time to set up Design Emporium. And also their sales are massively down this year, which is probably to do with like the current climate and financial crisis and everything. So in some respects, I really like Etsy. It's easy to put listings on there. I obviously make a decent income from it. And originally it was all basically like driven from my social media. So even though it would have been financially better for me to sell directly through PayPal or whatever, I knew long term that I needed to drive sales through Etsy to get the conversion rate basically. So you just have to take a bit of a hit. Like they take about 20 to 25% in total. But long term, it's worth it. And you'll then get like natural traffic from Etsy coming through and you'll show up in more search results. So all in all, I like Etsy. There's a lot of rubbish on there and I think it should be monitored better. But it's so huge. Like, I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, I feel like I need to maybe like at the minute I only have like a few sort of patterns up there, but I think what I need to do is like upload loads, like like to like get more on there and hopefully longer, like play the long game essentially, isn't it? Like longer term, hoping that it makes a difference. But I got dead excited like when I sold my first like digital download on Etsy. Like I genuinely, like my heart's jumped out of my chest.
It is. It's amazing, like, isn't it?
Honestly, I was so excited. I was like, someone bought a pattern from me, and actually like seeing it on fabric, like honestly, like I was like showing my family. I was like, look, I was like, look,
It
my
is.
design.
It's such a good feeling. And honestly, like you never really get tired of that feeling either. Like even now,
Yeah,
I see things that people have made in my designs. I just think, God, that's amazing. As if this is like
yeah.
my job. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say that you can do is sell through print on demand sites like Redbubble and Society 6. I see a lot of people selling through those. Have you thought
Yeah,
about that?
I have. I've never actually looked into them before. Yeah, are they good? Are they have you used them before or
So I used years ago when I first started. I think it was before I did seamless patterns actually, and I was just trying to like get into t-shirt designs and stuff. The thing that I found again is that it's very oversaturated. And when have you, as a customer, ever thought about going onto one of those sites and purchasing something? So I
hmm
think who even goes on there? Like it's such a random thing. If I wanted a new phone case, I'd go to a shop or I'd go on Amazon. I wouldn't even think to go on somewhere like that. Um, so there's that aspect of it. And the thing that I didn't like was I went with Printify. I had a few orders. So, for example, like a couple of t-shirts and a couple of mugs. And both mugs that I sold, the ink was smeared
Oh
from
no.
printing. So I then got a bad review on Etsy, had to
Oh
refund it out of my own pocket, and I just thought I just can't deal with not having full control over the end product
yeah, I get
because that is like your reputation on the line, even though it's a different company that's doing it. So for me, it was just too risky to do it. But I'm sure other people have success with it.
yeah, I get that. I think I feel exactly the same. Like
Yeah.
it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think there's just so many different platforms that it's like
Mm.
knowing where to start and which one to start like with is often like a really difficult thing. Do you find that like certain things are always popular, like in terms of designs? Like, as in, do you have ones that you like? You know, when we were talking about seasonal designs, do you have ones that you think they're just like always popular no matter what time of year? Or is it
Yeah.
really just you can't predict and it is just really like sort of fluctuating?
No, you can definitely predict it. So if you look into the demographics of sales for Etsy, it's something like 50% of the sales are made up from US, 30% UK, 10% Australia, and then 10% like rest of the world. Um, so you know straight away that you're marketing to those three big countries. And again, a lot of those are women. So for me personally, I know that farm, Western theme, dinosaurs, the common things that people search for are the ones that you should do essentially, because you want to show up in as many search results as possible, or the most commonly searched for results. So Western even has its own category on Etsy because it's just so popular. And that's not just in America; it's also a really popular theme for Australia as well. So that is going to be one of my top selling things that I know I can do it, and it's going to probably sell well. Girly versions of boy themes is
Oh,
also a big seller. I know
that's
that sounds a bit strange, but like girly dinosaurs, floral dinosaurs, um, that type of thing. It's just girly related sports themes. Big
okay.
seller.
It's
Um,
interesting, like yeah, knowing the different things that sort of yeah, it must be a nice feeling when you start to like recognize that. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, like actually, like now I'm seeing a pattern here of like what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah, definitely. I did a reel the other month, and it showed like the top five sellers, and yeah, I think the top one now it's changed now. Actually, the top one now is Christmas dinosaur gingerbread
I know which
cookies.
one that is. I've seen it.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah. So
cool.
that's actually been my top seller now. So yeah, common themes like dinosaurs and mix it with a season that sells really well. I get so many requests for Australian animals Christmas theme. I think because you find that more people then message you and request certain things, you'll just get to know what people want.
I've been obviously like navigating the different things like, you know, non-exclusive, color exclusive, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So that's been like a whole new world. Like, do you find that like one is more popular than the other? Do you find that, you know, more people want non-exclusives over color exclusives or vice versa? Or does it really just vary?
So again, it's changed over time. So when I first started, people just went mad for colorway exclusives. That is all that anybody sold. And then there were times where I'd do a design and not sell any at all. And I just thought, I can't afford to waste 2 days of my life that I've spent doing this design and not get any money for it. So at that point, I made the decision to always save a colorway as a non-exclusive. And then I started adding that to Etsy. So that's what's worked best for me. But as time's gone on, actually now, I find it harder to sell exclusive colorways because people are just like happy now to just go and get the non-exclusive, which is fine by me. I don't mind that.
That's interesting. Like, yeah, I've sort of obviously like uploaded like a handful of non-exclusives just to like test the water a bit, and then did like my first like color exclusive. But like, which is fine. I didn't have any interest in it, but it's just like interesting to know like, sort of what your experience has been like with that. Cause I know, you know, I follow like loads of people on Instagram where like, it's like color exclusives predominantly and stuff. So
yeah. So I find, white, to sell white as a background as an exclusive colorway, I always found it really difficult. So that's why I generally keep white background as non-exclusive, because you'll find unless it's people that are buying newborn baby clothes, which the baby doesn't eat like actual food, so it's not going to get stained, it's not crawling around on the grass. They're the companies that do like newborn stuff, small baby stuff, that will buy the white, but other businesses want to cater to older children, so they'll go for darker colorways.
That's interesting. Yeah. This is like, I feel like I need to write everything down. I'm going to be rewatching this for all your tips genuinely afterwards. Like, I feel like I've contributed nothing, but you've contributed loads. Like, I'm going to be...
No, it's good because people that watch it hopefully will be other seamless pattern designers and get some tips from it. So it's good. It's definitely good.
I hope people can just hopefully watch me openly say that I'm new to things, and if they're in the same boat, then give me a shout. I'm here. Come say hi.
Exactly.
We'll help each other. Definitely.
Form a team.
Absolutely. This is it. Yeah. The newbies over here.
Yeah. We've all got to start somewhere, Faye.
This is it.
Have you seen the German hashtags for seamless pattern designs?
I haven't, no.
Because your design style suits that market perfectly. And there's certain hashtags that I'll try and remind me, and I'll try and send some to you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel I'm genuinely going to be rewatching this. Like, so what was everything that Claire said to me?
And then remind me to do stuff.
I was watching one that you'd done before with somebody else, and even just I watched it and there was some great tips in that, and I was basically playing about with a pattern preview. So up until now I've done everything on Procreate, and I just like had a little play with the pattern preview, and it might just sound really amazing. Basic. It might sound really basic to people who have been doing this for so long, but it's literally blown my mind that it's so much easier to do than doing it through Procreate.
I honestly can't cope without it now.
So good. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, this is incredibly unprofessional of me to stop my dog sat on me.
Not at all. I would just wish I had some pets to bring to the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should do like that as a requirement in future. You have to have a pet sat on your knee during the podcast.
Like, I tell you, I'll be watching.
Have you got any more questions, Faye?
I'm sure that there will always be more questions that will come up later, but I think those are like the biggies that I wanted to ask.
That's awesome. Okay, well, me and my dog will say goodbye then. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. Bye.
See ya.